It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to this special edition of Science Bowl. The two teams you're about to meet have won once previously, and today's winner goes on to be the second of the 4 semifinalists in this year's middle school competition, joining Nicholas Ora Middle School. Let's meet today's teams. First, from Kenmoor Middle School, would you say hello to John Bridgers, Prosun Das, and Chimwemwe Chinkuyu. And from Walker Mill Middle School, here they are, Paris Smalley, Joseph Yambo, and Max Hernandez. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty. Questions on the left, 5 and 10 points, easier ones, increasingly more difficult, 15, 20, ultimately 25, toughest in each category. Both teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. Into the 2 rounds, one of these 2 schools will be that second semifinalist in the middle school competition. We have a lot at stake. Let's go over and make sure everything's working properly. Prosun, would you try your buzzer? Looks good, sounds good. The red team ready and raring to go. John, Prosun, and Chimwemwe. Joseph, would you try yours? All right, Joseph, Max, and Paris all pressing at the same time over there. Looks and sounds good as well. Good luck to Walker Mill, too. Teams, this is reminiscent of the early days of Science Bowl when Walker Mill and Kenmoor were arch rivals. And here you are back again today. I know you're going to have a great game. You're all good sports, great students. We go alphabetically, K before W. Kenmoor, let's start out.
Zoo Parade for 15.
Zoo Parade for 15 points. Teams, is a visual question. Look at the monitor if you would, please. Teams, these African vultures swarming over a carcass are being purposely poisoned because they are alerting wildlife officials to where there are animals that might have been shot by what kind of people? Walker Mill?
Poachers?
Poachers, yes. So the poachers don't want their position given away, so they're killing the vultures. Imagine that. Go green.
Body system for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, if your teeth are floating, as the saying goes, it could be because this body organ is filling up to its 600 milliliter capacity. Kenmoor?
The mouth.
Not your mouth, Walker Mill.
Stomach?
Not your stomach, your bladder. It's a way to say, I got to go to the bathroom. My teeth are floating. All right, go again, green.
Dateline Science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams, one of the victims of Ebola in Africa who survived is having these harvested from his blood. Kenmoor?
Stem cells. Stem cells?
Not the stem cells. What is being harvested from the blood of an Ebola survivor that is being used to treat other Ebola victims?
DNA.
Antibodies to fight off the virus in those other folks. Try again, please. Green.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Visual question. Look at the monitor, please. Teams, this fish-killing, toxin-ridden... Yes, sir.
Algae.
Algae, yes. It is a red tide caused by red algae. Indeed. Good. Go.
Let's get physical for 15.
Physical for 15 points. Teams, Friedrich Mohs was a mineralogist who came up with the Mohs scale of hardness that ranged from talc, which is 1, Walker Mill.
Diamond.
Diamond is 10 at the other end of that scale. Absolutely right. Good. Go.
Science Potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, multiple choice question. Teams, a lot of teams like soccer players are now playing on fields of artificial turf. And since they're using little bits of tire that contain chemicals like benzene and arsenic that are carcinogenic. Many goalies, especially who are playing on those artificial turf teams, are developing hemophilia, Parkinson's, or lymphoma. Kenmoor.
Lymphoma.
Lymphoma, which is a form of cancer. Absolutely right. That's the carcinogenic clue. Good, red.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade 25, big one in that category. Teams, back in 1900 in this country, fully 40% of the birds were of this single species that used to darken the sky as they flew over. Kenmoor.
Pigeon.
More specifically?
Passenger pigeons.
Passenger pigeons, absolutely right. The last one died in a zoo in Cincinnati. They are now trying to de-extinct the passenger pigeon and bring it back. Red.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Team scientists are excited that they are prodding stem cells to become islet cells in the pancreas to produce this hormone. Kenmoor.
Insulin.
Insulin, yes, that is used to treat diabetes, that malfunctioning of our sugar metabolic system. Go red.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, there is a new company making scarves and ties with body parts all over. They're actually nicer than it sounds. The name of the company is Cerebella Designs. Cerebella Designs, what they nod, Walker Mill.
Sorry, yeah.
The brain.
To the brain, absolutely right, as in cerebellum. Good comeback, good. Score at this juncture, Walker Mill 110, Kenmoor 110, advantage green.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, there's a new book out about a young boy who wants to win the science fair to help save his father's fix-it-up shop. The name of the book is Frank Blank and the Antimatter Motor. Frank's last name is the same as the scientist who came up with E equals MC squared. Kenmoor.
Einstein.
Yes, it is Frank Einstein and the Antimatter Motor. If you want to read a good book, read it. Go red.
Zoo parade for 10.
Zoo parade for 10 points. Team question is as follows. When a fish is young and doesn't have the same coloration as the adult and is not at reproductive stage yet, we describe it by this term, which when applied to young people like you, is used if you're doing the bad thing. Walker Mill.
Bad thing, prisoners. No.
What you think?
Guppy.
Not a guppy. What term do we apply to these young fish that is applied to human beings, young people, when they're doing bad things?
Juvenile.
Yes, juvenile delinquents, juvenile fish. Good. Good comeback. Go red.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, it's 27 moons and counting for this 7th planet in the solar system, Walker Mill.
Uranus.
Uranus is right. Good. Red. Excuse me, green. Oh, the buzzer says we will hold that thought. We'll be back in a moment. Let's check that score right now. Kenmoor 135, Walker Mill 120. A battle of the Titans. We'll be back in a moment. Don't you go away.
I wanted to start a business that I was passionate about, something I absolutely enjoyed and believed in.
I was doing the corporate grinds, and I kind of wanted to do something a little more green. My name's Steve Allen. I run RadCab in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We do pedicabs and mobile outdoor advertising. I love being social, talking to people. A lot of confusing stuff when you start a business. When I go in and talk to my store mentor, he really helps me sort it all out, and we just get organized. And when I go home, I feel confident about what's going on. It really feels amazing to create jobs here in my city.
It's incredibly awesome. I love to show it off.
If you get a solid foundation for your business laid, everything else falls in place. SCORE has absolutely been the most invaluable resource that I've had from day one. For free? I could not imagine doing anything else.
Get your free business mentor at score.org.
If you're like most families, you probably have video game fans in your home. But not every game is right for every kid, which is where the ESRB ratings come in. They help parents make informed decisions for their kids. And there's an easy-to-use mobile app that gives you detailed info on specific game ratings. Video game consoles have parental controls that you can set to block certain games by age rating, so they get all the fun, and you get peace of mind.
And we welcome you back to Science Bowl. What a very competitive match today. and it's going to stay that way right on through the second half here because we have 6 outstanding young people here. Some of the best who have ever played Science Bowl. Some of the scores higher than we've seen in our 29 years. And 5 of the 6 players here have been here in previous years. All of them have played this year before, and they're here today to decide who moves on in the competition. Let's go over to Kenmoor first, and reigning champ. And 2 of the 3 members were on the team last year, John and Prosun and Chimwemwe. Good to have you as part of this prize-winning team here. Prosun, tell us about your school. Principal?
Miss Fudley.
Miss Dudley. And sponsor?
Miss Diallo.
Miss Diallo. 2 amazing ladies who are behind you 100%. Sponsor of the alternate on your team.
We have 2, Jared and Miracle.
Wonderful. And they will be out in just a few moments here. Prosun, how many times have you been on this show?
Well, 5th grade, 3 times before this.
3 times. I know you competed when you were in the elementary school and now in middle school. And this is your last year of competition.
Yes.
Yes, it won't be Science Bowl without you. You're just an amazing young man. Wants to be a herpetologist.
Yes.
Loves reptiles and amphibians. Do you have any at home?
No, I wish I did.
No, we can't convince your folks to let you have those under that same roof. We're still working on that. Good to have you back here. Chimwemwe, tell us about you. You have a lot of career goals. You want to be like a number of different things.
Yeah. I would like to be a computer programmer, a surgeon, and I would also like to do lots of other things.
Lots of other things, that's right. Well, if you're doing those 2, you're going to be, your dance card's going to be full, as we say. You're going to be pretty darn busy. But you know, a lot of people, a lot of talented people balance a lot of different careers at the same time, and something tells me you could do that. You're a good addition to this team. You're a 6th grader. Prosun is in the 8th grade, and John, you're a 7th grader. How many times for you on this show?
This will be my 3rd time.
3rd time?
3
Yeah.
times
What do you like about it?
I like science and I like to compete.
Absolutely, and you do that so well. How do you know so much science?
Well, I mean, I like science, I don't know, so I just know a lot, and we practice a lot.
Yeah, and that shows. Keep up the good work in the second half here. Walker Mill, good to have you here. Joseph, tell us about Walker Mill. Principal.
Dr. Nicole Clifton.
Wonderful. Sponsor your team.
Miss Barrientos.
Barrientos, and she has been a stalwart here, helped us with judging and now sponsoring. I know she really understands this game. Tell me about yourself. What do you want to do?
Well, I've narrowed it down to a few categories, either something in astronomy, computer sciences, or something in the neurosciences.
Neurosciences. Do you have a telescope?
Yeah.
Yeah. Telescope in this area is almost a must-have because if we're not looking at eclipses, we're looking at meteor showers or something. It's a very rich area for astronomers around here. Before I leave you, alternate on your team?
We have Calais, and then we have Jan.
A very important part of this team, integral part of the team, those alternates. We'll bring them out with the sponsors in just a few moments. Good to have you back. Good player, Max. And you were here when you were in elementary school.
Yeah.
Yeah, Max, what school was that? Glen Arden Woods?
Yeah.
And Joseph, you were here with Glen Arden Woods as well. Max, tell me about the crystal ball. What do you see yourself as doing as an adult?
I want to be an anthropologist or do something with computer programming.
Yeah. And in your spare time, what do you do?
I play video games. I play my saxophone, or I would read.
Read. How long have you played the sax?
4 years.
4 years. And do you own your own?
Yes.
Yeah. And you're in the band and the orchestra over there?
Yes.
That's great. Do you do gigs? Do you go out and play anywhere?
No.
Maybe in the future. You know, that makes us a little extra money on the side there. Paris, nice to have you back here. Very well-spoken young lady, well-read young lady, and you have an interest in writing.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, I love to write. I love reflective writing. It gives me time to reflect on my thoughts, and it really clears up my mind, and it really actually brings back thoughts, and it lets me elaborate on them.
Do you keep a diary?
I do keep a diary.
I think that's one of the best things because you can go back. There's so many things you forget in your life, and you reread those later, and you talk about reflective writing, that and poetry. You're a real asset to this team over there. And you played on the Capitol Heights Science Bowl team.
I did.
So it's nice to have you back. Let's get back into our game. Walker Mill, 125. Kenmoor, 135. It couldn't be any closer. Green team, start us out, Joseph.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points teams. The inedible parts of the plants that we eat consist of the cell walls, but collectively, when we refer to our diet, that is known as the what? What is that, Kenmoor? Inedible parts of the plant, dietetically speaking?
Cellulose?
Not the cellulose, no, good try. Walker Mill, what do we call those inedible parts of the edible plants that we eat? In a dietary sense, made up of the cell walls.
Chloroplast?
Fiber. It's the fiber in your diet. Go again, green, please.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, Matthew McConaughey is about to star in a new blockbuster movie called Interstellar, a word that means what? Interstellar, what does it mean?
Between stars?
Yes, between stars, good. That's the way to parse that word. Go.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points, teams. The wolf mascot of the North Carolina University Wolfpack is not a wolf. It is actually a dog that is a mix of Malamute and German Shepherd and Husky. All members of the same species, but different whats? Different whats, Walker Mill?
Genuses?
Not genuses, no. They are different what? They all belong to the same genus. Yes?
Subspecies?
Breeds. They're different breeds. Dogs are different breeds. Go red, please.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points, teams. It was back on Halloween Day in 1931 that this famed inventor died, and they saved his final breath in a test tube. Speaking of tubes, he also came up with a glass tube that was the first ever light bulb. Who was he? Walker Mill?
Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison, yeah, the Wizard of Menlo Park. Go green.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems, 25. Big one in that category, teams. When people come from West Africa and other parts of the world to our airports, they are checked for Ebola. Walker Mill? What you want to tell me, Joseph?
Malaria?
Not malaria, no. They're checking people for Ebola at airports, especially if they're coming from West Africa, but other places as well. They're taking their temperature with a contactless thermometer. They are using this part of the electromagnetic spectrum that we associate with heat.
Infrared?
Infrared, an infrared thermometer. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Chimwemwe, for your assist. Go. Red.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25 points. Teams, the development of the atomic bomb was only made possible with the discovery of uranium-238, a variant of normal uranium because it had extra neutrons. Walker Mill.
Isotope?
Yes, it is a radioactive isotope. Yes, young man, go.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25. Big one in that category. Teams, collectively, the ovary, the style, and the stigma are the female reproductive part. Kenmoor.
On a plant. Female reproductive part on the plant that that produces a seed.
Not quite. The ovary, the style, and the stigma are indeed the female reproductive parts of the plant, collectively known as this. The pistil. The pistil is the collective term. Try again, green.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Big one in that category. Teams. A geographic answer to this question. The making of the atomic bomb was known as this project because it was named, Kenmoor?
Manhattan.
Manhattan, yes, because most of the research took place on this most densely populated of New York's boroughs. Red.
Zoo parade for 5.
Zoo parade for 5 points. Teams, when we humans take part in experiments, we sign consent. We are subjects. We are participants. We do not extend that courtesy to what rodents that are our subjects.
Rats.
Rats or mice or guinea pigs. Yes, good, go.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points, teams. Because he was decapitated by a cannonball, this horseman in the legend of Sleepy Hollow
Headless.
Had lost his head. Yes, he was the headless horseman. Go.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points. Teams, it sounds like the movie was about the ratio of the circumference of any circle. Joseph?
Pi.
Yeah, The Life of Pi was about an Indian boy and a tiger in a boat. Good, green.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline science for 25. Big question for you. We are worried about viruses. We're worried about the influenza virus. We're worried about the Ebola virus. We're also worried about this other E-initialed virus. Walker Mill.
Can I pass it to Paris?
Paris.
Entero 68.
Entero 68, absolutely right. That has killed a student in this country and is much more prevalent than Ebola. We have 5, 6 questions left. 215 to 200 advantage. Green.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, what verb do we now typically use when we cook with a microwave? Kenmoor.
What do you want?
What you want to tell me?
Heat.
Nope. Walker Mill, what verb do we now typically use when we cook with a microwave?
Nuke.
We nuke it. That's it. Good. Green.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. The skin of a mango contains the same urushiol oil found on this vine. Pro-son.
Grape.
Not a grape? No. In the skin of a mango is urushiol oil found in this same vine that leads to many itchy summers.
Poison ivy.
Poison ivy, yeah. Same thing as a mango. Good, go. Green.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, a Nobel Prize was awarded this year in medicine to the developers of something called fluorescent nanoscopy. They came up with a uber version of this simple laboratory experiment that we know has high and low objectives. Walker Mill. Yes, sir.
Hypothesis?
Not a hypothesis, no. This laboratory instrument that has both high and low objectives has now been developed and won a Nobel Prize because they came up with something called fluorescent nanoscopy. Name that instrument. Microscope was the answer. Microscope was the answer. Go green.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Question is as follows. The bean from this orchid is actually a pod that contains seeds that produces the most famous... Walker Mill.
Pea?
Not pea. The pod of this orchid that is called a bean has seeds inside that produces a flavor that is the most popular flavor of ice cream in this country.
Vanilla.
Vanilla, yes, good. Red, go.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, there is a new book out on the bestseller list, especially for people your age, about 2 teenagers that have cancer. It's all about astrology. Pro-son.
The Fault in Our Stars.
Fault in Our Stars it is, yes. Last question of the game. Dateline for 5 points is as follows. A farmer in California recently raised one of these giant gourds that tip the scales, Walker Mill.
Pumpkin.
It is a pumpkin, absolutely right. And with that, we have run out of questions. We will be back in one moment with sudden death here on Science Bowl.
I got into business as a hobby. I wasn't really thinking seriously. I said, somebody needs to teach me so I don't go bankrupt. You go to your friends, they all wanted to help you out, but they are not that knowledgeable sometimes. So I went to a store and I met Terry. I talked to her about my party business. This woman understands what I'm saying. If you need help, there are people with amazing knowledge right there and free. And here I learned the fundamental business. I learned about how to manage it. From the one-person business in garage to a 23,000 square foot building owner. My table linen entertained the First Lady and the Russian First Lady. That's good enough for me. There's just so much to learn there. Not only about business and making money, but I think I really learned about the fundamental of human giving. I am here because of SCORE.
Get your free business mentor at score.org.
And welcome back. If you've been with us today, you know this has been a nail-biter. The score has gone back and forth. 2 evenly matched teams, perfectly evenly matched. Rarely does it happen on Science Bowl, but we have a tie score, 225 all. We go to sudden death. The first correct answer will win and become the second semifinalist. Not to put any pressure on you guys. Just stay cool and calm. You're just remarkable. We begin. Question. Teams, right now we are concerned about viruses because viruses keep changing and we have to keep coming up with vaccines in order to meet those new strains. What is that process called? What is that process called, Kenmoor?
Mutation.
It mutates, absolutely right. And with that, Kenmoor is going to win this game and move on. We will be back with a wrap-up in one moment. Don't you go away.
Going to school pregnant, riding the bus, that was hard. You just have all the stares and you have all the questions, and even little kids make you nervous just staring at you. When you get pregnant, all the stuff just goes through your mind. Abortion, adoption, keeping him. You're his mom. You're supposed to be the one taking care of him and raising him. But when you're 15 and pregnant, you can't do it without support. I wanted to give him a better life. When I found out I was pregnant, I don't know, just a light hit me in my heart, just saying adoption is what you need to do. I really have a simple dream. I just want to get my nursing career, get married, and have a family. When I get pregnant again, give them a better life. I'm Miranda, and I chose adoption.
Welcome back to this extraordinary match here on the Science Bowl. That score still says it's tied because we had to go to sudden death. If ever it was true that everybody is a winner, this is the day. These young people here, as sharp as they get, you are the pride of Prince George's County, and they're all smiling over there because they knew that anybody could have won this with one answer, and that came with mutation here. Prosun and Chinwemwe and John, congratulations. They're shaking over there still. Settle down. And Jared and Miracle and Miss Diallo, thank you for everything you've done here. And Paris and Joseph and Max, you came right back at the end there. I don't want to see you guys leave. You played a terrific game today. Miss Barrientos, what a job you did sponsoring this team. Miss G, thank you for being here to support this team. Calais is gone, our other alternate, and that's right. Thank you for being here today, and I know you're an important part of this team. We will see you next time on Science Bowl. Thank you for being here today. Bye-bye.